see. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for me. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight.
All right. Oh no, wrong one. There we go. Much more better. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the first episode of the Australian Elite and Elite Qualifier Leagues. And today I'm joined by two very special guests. Tian, the founder of the Australian Twitter League, and Pete, who is also known by FPL SideNet, runs his own podcast as well. So welcome to both of you. How are you guys doing?
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, good. Thanks. All right. Thanks for having me on.
Pleasure to have both of you guys on. So we're going to go through the leagues, explain what exactly the rule system is and everything, and how it came about as well. But before that, let's probably show the first slide that we have, which kind of gives an overview of how the whole system works, from Twitter League to Elite Qualifier and the main Elite League as well. Tian, do you want to go through maybe explaining how the Twitter League came about, how everything started?
Oh yeah, sure. So I've been sort of lurking around on Twitter for a number of years now. Since playing FPL, and but hadn't been active or engaged very much until maybe sort of mid 2020. When the COVID hit and you got the long break and all that, and so I was getting really bored and not having many people to talk to because it couldn't go anywhere. So I started to try to find more Australian managers on Twitter, and so I stumbled upon a few, and then we start talking toward the end of 2020, and then someone said, oh, what about we make like an Australian Twitter league so that we can join in and then we can have more discussion about how we're going and everything. So I said, yeah, sure, let's do that next season. So that was last season when we first started making the Australian Twitter League, and I created the Australian FPL Twitter account as well, just to have one place so that we can sort of update how the league is going. And I couldn't imagine how quickly it grew. I think we got 150 plus Australian managers joining the Twitter League in the first season, and a lot of people sort of found each other as well. I found you guys and stumbled upon your podcast, your YouTube channel, and all that sort of stuff. And then the Australian FPL community, I think, has been growing massively. And then toward the end of last season, when sort of midway through last season, I thought, oh, what about we created something a little bit more interesting? Because having the Twitter League was great, but then just keep updating every week just on the Twitter League seems a bit boring to myself. It's like, well, what about we make something a bit more competitive and more interesting? So came up, talked to a few people, and came up with the ideas of the 2 or 3 tiers, I guess, league, so that we have some goals to aim for. And I think since then, people were really sort of getting pumped up and try to compete and secure a spot for the elite or the elite qualifier leagues, which I believe you both are in the top tier league. So yes. Congratulations, well done.
Almost.
But yeah, so that was basically how it came about, and I think it is growing stronger and stronger by the day. So I'm really glad.
Mm-hmm. Pete, how did you get to know the Australian Twitter League, or was it all? Did you first know Tian, or did you find the league before that?
Just like you guys, I think last season seemed to be really enjoyable from an FPL aspect of just getting to know the community. I feel like the season before that, I wasn't that active on FPL Twitter. Then last season, it just seemed like there was a huge emergence of Australian managers being active on there, and finding yourself, Ryan, finding TN, and then it led to other people and other content creators, and suddenly this little bubble that I thought was very small of Australian content creators and managers, really engaged managers, were actually quite large. And yeah, part of that was getting introduced to the Twitter league, and then you add all the other managers onto your Twitter feed, and then you're bouncing ideas off each other, and it just seemed to snowball from there and get bigger and bigger as the season went on. And yeah, I love the concept of the elite qualifier league. I remember towards the end of the season really sweating looking at my progress on there. So I think I just scraped into the elite 32 for next season. I think I'm the 32nd ranked manager in the elite 32. I tell you, I was pretty excited to make it, but it just adds that extra element to, it's a free game for everyone, FPL. But what you put into it, you can get a lot out of it. And I feel like, guys like TN and yourself, Ryan, as well, also helping out with the admin side of things. If you put a lot into it, you can actually get a lot out of it. And yeah, from the perspective of just being involved, I'm really looking forward to it, just for that extra element of surprise.
Yeah, I remember joining the Twitter League as well, like last season, getting to know, it gave a new, a source to find new Australian managers as well. Like, usually at the time I usually interact on the community, it's mostly in the night. So you get more of like the UK managers also awake. But the fact that there's like an area just to interact with Australian managers, see how they're doing as well, and competing against them, kind of you look forward to it as well every week. And yeah, this was that point where I was like, between the qualifier and then the elite, and then the final few weeks, the chips came in handy, managed to push forward. But yeah, the idea of TNs was so good that even FPL USA took it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how they also do it this season. So let's see how they also do. A couple of people in the chat as well. Mira is there, Chris, FPL Bruno, and FPL Good Vibes as well. So welcome to everyone who's in the stream as well. Let's start with the Australian Elite League, shall we? This is the top 32. And I must say, Pete, the graphics in here, what you've done, top notch.
Oh, thank you. I feel bad. Like I had my normal projects to do for work, and then at the same time, I was spending all my days doing my normal work, and then I only had such a limited time to do this. But I wanted to flip it around. I wanted to do this stuff all day and leave my clients to the side. But unfortunately, doing this stuff doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, I was actually pretty happy with this. I started with the elite 32 branding from there, and then I had to try and find a way to make a blend across sort of all three tiers. But to me, it looks fancy, and that's what I was going with, like sort of classy, prestigious, and sort of like the E and the 3 sort of being like mirrored for that. Yeah. You guys liked it, so I was happy.
Just want to jump in as well. Like, obviously shout out to you, Ryan, for sort of like, putting your hands up for doing some media coverage, which I think will be great as well, on top of the Twitter feed updates and that stuff. And so just like talking to you guys to say, well, hey, actually, I really love Pete's graphic designs with your own league, and so let's come together and make something together, because I'm terrible. I'm hopeless with graphics. So my updates on Twitter look boring because it just takes, and so having something like this is just incredible, and it's just like the collaboration will be great, and really looking forward to it.
Yeah,
and I'm sure we are one up on the FPL USA.
Yep.
It's definitely in terms of the graphics.
Yep, fancy graphics from Pete, and I'll be covering weekly coverage on YouTube as well. We'll do every Monday a coverage just looking at how the managers went in terms of that specific game week. And I'm also thinking the manager of the month, will probably get them on stream if they're okay and willing to come on stream. Manager of the month for maybe the elite and qualifier leagues as well. So looking forward to all of that as well. Lots of opportunities, lots of interaction coming forward. So let's start with the Australian Elite League. We've got the qualification up and how you can actually qualify for it. So the top 10 overall rank managers in the Australian Elite Qualifier League, which is the one below this, will be promoted to the Elite League. So not this season, but following on from there, the top 10 from the Elite Qualifier to the Elite League. The top two ranked managers from the Australian Twitter League will also be promoted to the Australian Elite League, assuming they are already not in the Australian Elite League. What would happen if they already qualified for that? Would you just go below, or?
So because I expect all the managers that are either in the Australian Elite or the Elite qualifiers will also be in the general Australian Twitter League. So if it happens that the top twos are already in the Elite leagues, and then we'll just go the next ranked manager. So yeah, basically. Now obviously the other thing is we have the sort of the general eligibility criteria. So you got to be an Australian FPL manager. Now we also extend the qualification and the eligibility to New Zealand managers, and also our neighbouring Pacific Islanders as well, because obviously I think I've seen a few of them around, and they joined the Twitter League last season as well. So we welcome them, even though it's called the Australian Elite or Elite Qualifier. We welcome our neighbouring in the sort of the
Asia
very
Pacific.
it's Oceania region. Because before people say, well, what about we extend to Asia and
too big.
probably going to be too far.
And also just in general, you need to have a Twitter handle as well, as part of your condition in terms of accepting or getting into the league. Obviously, it's not a big thing to have a Twitter handle, pretty free. Just have one. You don't necessarily have to operate one, but it just helps us to advertise the league as well, even more. So that's the qualification. Anything I missed out that anyone wants to state? No? Looks good. All right, sweet. The thing we don't want to talk about, relegation. The bottom 12 overall rank managers in the Australian Elite League will be relegated to the Elite Qualifier. So it's not all doom and gloom. You go to the qualifier, not the Twitter League as well. So it's not 2 levels down, but the bottom 12 do get relegated. Now, you do not want to be in this bottom 12, but someone's got to be there. So that's the relegation. Anything to add on top of that? No.
I feel like I'm going to be in that relegation battle. I'm feeling like when David Moyes was at Sunderland, I remember his very first press conference after that first game. He said straight up, we're going to be in a relegation dogfight. I'm saying that now for my team. I'm going to be in a relegation dogfight.
Oh my God. We'll see how it goes.
So just want to put it out there that when I thought about this, right, and thinking about what the structure of the league should look like, some people say, oh, let's just make the Elite 64. I think that there's some similar kind of Elite 64 leagues around in the UK, things like that. But then I thought, well, 64 would probably be too many, because the Twitter league we already had about 150 last season, so you don't want half of the league to qualify for the elite, to make the elite sort of level a little bit less elite, I guess. So then so created 2 tiers, and obviously you gotta have relegation, so to make it super competitive, and we know that we have very strong Australian managers here. So I think Brad finished 3rd in the world. And we've got James as well, who were number 1 for some period of time during last season. So we have very elite managers, not only in Australia, but across the world as well. And so I imagine the elite league will be super, super competitive, and hopefully with the media coverage, via YouTube and Twitter, and we have a group chat as well. Hopefully that'll just make it even more exciting and more competitive.
Yep, that's what. And also for those who are not involved in the Elite League, we're hoping that the media coverage will help you guys also to improve your game as well, by being able to analyze how these top managers are making their moves. Because I think the Elite League itself, it was top 20, at least all the managers were in the top 25k maybe overall, I would kind of assume.
So, yeah.
So
I think so.
that itself is a very huge feat to achieve. So it'll help everyone in general as well who's watching the videos, even though you don't even necessarily have to be Australian, but it could help you to improve your game as well, just to understand how the top managers actually making moves and what moves they're making also. So that's kind of the idea behind the whole media coverage, and we hope it helps you guys as well. Having said that, let's get on to the next 32, the Australian Elite Qualifier. Now, managers ranked from 3rd to 21st in the Australian Twitter League in each season, who are not in the Elite League, will be promoted to the Elite Qualifier. Now, just like Tian mentioned before, obviously it'll go down if they are in the Elite League. So it'll be the next, whichever number that we can get in. And then also the overall cup winner of the Australian Twitter League, who is not in the Elite League, will also be promoted to the Elite Qualifier. Now, with regards to this, would the runner-up get that possibility, or is it, what are we looking in terms of that? No. Or does it go to the Twitter League? Okay, just the cup winner. Okay.
So just one spot for the cup winner. Now, obviously, if the cup winner is also in the Elite League already, or they also qualify because let's say they're also top of the lower leagues, so they have 2 ways to qualify.
Yep.
They can pick one, right? So obviously they can pick. Now, obviously, if they are qualified for the Elite League, then of course I would imagine they would pick that.
Yeah.
But if they have 2 pathways to get to the qualified league, then they can choose the cup pathway.
Oh, okay.
Then the spot in the normal ranking ladder will go to the next.
Fair enough.
Rank manager. So I think it just you don't want to go down to the runner-up.
Fair enough.
It's get a bit more complicated.
Fair enough. And then if any qualified manager does not accept invitations to join, again, like we mentioned before, needs to have a Twitter league, a Twitter handle. And if you don't accept invitations, because I remember there was at the start of this season as well, you were mentioning, or you were setting deadlines for people to accept invitations. Some people didn't, so their spot went to someone else. Same thing will happen going ahead as well for the following seasons. That's qualification. Anything else to add in? Nope. Cool. And relegation. Now, relegation qualified league is refreshed every year. I'm a bit confused with my own this thing.
So basically, it just get dissolved.
Okay, fair enough.
So what happened is you've got 32, right?
Yes.
The top 12 will go up.
Yes, and then the whole league
and
is
then
basically...
the rest will just everyone will just go to the normal.
Yeah, so it comes from the Twitter league straight away.
And then we get the new pool from the Twitter league.
Okay.
So the idea behind this is to make it open a lot more opportunity for people to get to because it's very hard to get to the elite league.
Yes.
Right? You need to sort of more or less go through the qualifier league.
Yeah.
But if you make the qualifier league difficult,
then it's harder to get into
a long time.
Yeah.
If a lot of people didn't know about the Twitter league last season, so they only joined this season now. Obviously, they can compete to get the top 2 so that they can go straight up to the elite league. But that would be quite difficult, I imagine. So having an easier pathway to the qualifier league.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, was a thinking.
Fair enough. That makes sense. To involve more people and more new people as well, get incentivized in the community as well, which is pretty good. And then, so those are basically the elite leagues, the elite and the elite 32 in terms of qualifier and relegation. If anyone has any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. We'll try and answer as many as we can. But let's get into the bread and butter, the Australian Twitter League. Open to all Australian, New Zealand and Pacific Island managers, like we mentioned before. No qualifications or relegations. It's basically open to all. And you have a deadline until game week 28 to join the league. I remember one of my podcast members forgot to join by game week 28. And then when I shared the qualification spots for the elite and elite qualifier, he was looking at his overall and the people in the elite qualifier. I was like, oh, I could have made it, but he didn't join. So don't be that. Make sure to join the Australian Twitter League. I'll make sure that my podcast members also join the Australian Twitter League. But yeah, it's a great place to meet new managers as well. and a very open community from what I've seen. Anything to add? I think we're at the last.
Yes. So just one point on that Game Week 28 deadline. We just don't want people to join in late and they say, oh, I'm now sort of like
Yep.
third in the world or something, and then now suddenly they want to join in.
Yep.
So we want it to be fair for everyone from now on, so that everyone has an equal opportunity. You got to be in it to win it, I guess.
Fair enough.
That's the idea.
And that brings us to the end of what we wanted to cover. If anyone has any questions in the chat, please let us know. FPL Bruno says, thanks Tian for organizing, and thanks team for the live video as well. So hopefully this does help people. And if you are new, this is me plugging. Make sure to leave a like, hit the subscribe button, because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So hopefully this also helps. And also Tian and Pete, do you guys have anything to plug?
Just very quickly, shout out to FPL Bruno as well. Like, he was actually very crucial in the initial discussions. He actually created the FPL Twitter League. So we were one of the first few who actually talked about the original idea. So yeah, big shout out to FPL Bruno.
Pete, anything to plug?
Anything to plug? No, I just want to encourage, if you're Australian, New Zealander, or an Islander, get involved, because it's just so much fun. And 12 months ago, I didn't know barely any Australian managers, and now here I am talking with you guys. So you can get a lot out of it, and that's all it is. So if you want to have fun, get involved.
Yep. And on that note, I think we could end it, because I don't think there's anything else further in terms of questions. If you guys do have questions after this video, feel free to add it in the comments. You can also send us a tweet, and we'll reply to that as well, at Australian _FPL.
_FPL, that's it.
Yep, that's the Twitter handle for the Twitter League, and we'll reply back to you guys as well. So feel free to ask us any questions on the comments page here, or even on Twitter, and we'll respond to you guys as quickly as possible. Tian and Pete, thank you very much for joining. It's been a pleasure having you guys, and I'm looking forward to the season.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.